What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. If you celebrated Easter over the weekend, happy belated Easter to you. And I hope you guys all had a nice weekend. Hope you guys had a better weekend than I did on the betting front. Whew! Bad picks by degen. It's all right. We're going to talk about it, though. But today we're going to be going over the sports betting tracker, how to make a tracker, kind of the behind the scenes of the tracker that I made. I did post a link to it in the Discord, so if you guys are in the Discord already, pop in the Discord, and you guys can find it on there. And it's a blank tracker. The most of the coding I think is behind it. If not, well, you'll know how to do it from here. All right. So, what's going on, Crapping Camper? Brian, how are you? Lou, appreciate that. Looking forward to seeing you in a few days in Atlantic City. So if you guys are wondering, there will be no show Friday at this time. I am planning on doing a live Q&A session from Atlantic City. Details are still being figured out on that. But I do plan on doing a live session there either Friday or Saturday, maybe Sunday. I don't know. We'll see what happens and what the schedules look like when we get there. But no show at this time on Friday because I will be in Atlantic City at the time playing on a table. So no show Friday. All right. We will have a show today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, but no show Friday. So if you guys want to see something specific, you guys can drop it in chat here, or you can let me know in the Discord, again, under the Sportsbook tab. But let's flip over here. You guys know what's coming on this show. And remember, note, but the picks are going to continue today. All right. I don't have them for this show. I've been super busy at work this morning. Haven't had time to run some of the models and some of the numbers, but they will be out later this afternoon. I promise. All right. Some of you may be saying your picks suck. Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Don't you worry. All right. We're going to go to the tracker now, and we're going to go over it. All right. I didn't post a recap in Discord because there's a few points I wanted to make, and I sent a message out in Discord not too long ago that there's a few points I wanted to make. So I'm going to make those points, and I will post a recap of the weekend and stuff later on today after this show. But if you take a look so far through the month of April, we've had 27 picks. It's the 10th of April today. So 9 days, 27 picks. We're averaging about 3 picks a day. I told you that's where I like to sit, in that 3-pick range. I'm trying to be selective. Obviously, the picks that I've been posting have been recently. So let's go over and let's see what we're at right now. We're down 7.13 units. All right, not good. I'm gonna turn it around. I can assure you of that. But not hiding from it. Down 7.3 units. It is what it is. And this is going to bring me to a couple points that I wanted to make on this show specifically. All right, so if you guys remember the first couple episodes, I talked about units, bankroll management, and all that good stuff that goes along with it, right? This is why this is very important. Now, unfortunately, I have to make this point now, and I don't want to because I don't like to make a point off losses because I don't like losing. I don't think any of us do. But this is why we use units, and this is why we track bets, and this is why we do all this kind of stuff, right? So most people, right, who watch the show and are understanding what the units are, we're down 7 units. It sounds like, wow, that's not very good. If you look at the record, I'm 12-13 with 1 push. Again, not very good, right? But from a unit perspective, we're down 7 units. If you have $100, your bankroll right now should be right under 93. All right, if you're using the units and you're using $1 as a unit. And this is why units are so important. Because even though I'm down 7 units right now, do I like it? Absolutely not. Is it breaking me? Absolutely not. And this is why I preach the units and bankroll management and things along those lines. Because if you take just a random amount of money for each bet, you may be down a lot more right now just because you're not following the unit system and you're not following proper bankroll management. And again, I don't like making this point. I don't want to have to make this point. I don't like losing. I'm going to say it again, but it's the reality of sports betting. All right. It's the reality of gambling in general. And You will have losing months. You'll have winning months. Right now, we're down 10 days into the month. All right? We're going to turn it around. Don't you worry. Okay? Degen will turn it around. I promise you of that. But, units, right? You can see, I told you guys before, there's a lot of streaks that happen in sports betting as well. All right? So you can take a look here, right? Lost the first play, won the next 6. You're like, Degen knows what he's doing. Yeah, I do. I do know what I'm doing. But this is also why I can tell you that streaks happen. And I said it before I even started posting plays. And I said this is why bankroll management is super important. All right. What's going on, Ted? And I said this is why bankroll management is super important. All right. What's going on, Ted? How are you? Where's my... there's my mouse. There's Ted. What's going on? But yeah, this is why I'm saying units are important in this kind of information. All right. I'm going to get into making the tracker in a minute. But this is why units are important, and I said streaks were going to happen. Here you go. You can see what the streaks look like. All right, the last few picks it's been a pretty brutal red streak. It's bloody. I don't like it. We're going to turn it around. All right, we're going to turn it around, but I wanted to make the point of bankroll management, units that are important, and also streaks happen. All right, if you see somebody who's betting and they never lose or they never have these kind of streaks, they're lying to you. All right? Point blank, here it is. Open, honest. I'm sucking at the minute. It's turning around though. All right? I made a few tweaks to a couple models actually. I'm hoping that helps a little bit. But also, not making excuses. But if you take a look at a couple of these picks, all right? Again, not making excuses here. I'm just making a couple points. You take a look at this play, right? The Rays and the AC Milan game. AC Milan had, I think, 30 shots in the game. I think double digits on target. They had a goal disallowed late for God knows what. I have no idea why it was disallowed, but it is what it is. All right, so that was a swing there. 2-unit loss, which was almost a 2-unit win, right? So if you swing that around, you're only down half as bad right now, right? The other one here, Club Brugge, they were firing shots the entire first half, couldn't score. They scored 2 goals 5 minutes into the second half. It happens, all right? And this is why sports betting is not the greatest thing, and it's not always glorious. You take losses at times, so that's why I'm showing you this stuff, all right? Here, again, another one that was set up to have a ton of goals and didn't have goals, all right? So we stand at -7 units. We're bringing it back, all right? We're bringing it back. So I'm going to flip back over here. There is the recap for the weekend. Didn't do too great this weekend. Obviously, you saw the streaks of red on the tracker. Looking to turn that around, but that's why I'm telling you guys. And this is why I wanted to have a couple shows in the beginning on bankroll management, on streaks, on tracking bets, things like that, because you can actually see where you are. If you don't see that kind of stuff on the tracker, right? Like if you don't see this on a tracker, let me slide over it. Oh, that's too far. If you don't see the streaks of red, you may not realize what's going on. You may think, I lost a couple bets. But you see here, how many losses in a row right there? It happens. All right? So that's why I wanted to show you that and just tell you that it happens. And we'll bring it back. We will certainly bring it back. I've been down much, much more in a month and brought it back. So looking for that. But let's talk about the tracker. All right. So I posted the tracker, like I said, in Discord. It's a blank tracker, but the columns should be organized to the point where you can edit them and make your own version of the tracker. But I've had a few people ask me specific questions on the tracker, ask me to do a video on the tracker. So we're going to make this tracker here from scratch. All right, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, and we're going to get into that now. All right, and this tracker can be used for a specific sport if that's what you want, or you can use it for all of your sports in totality. That's how I personally use it, is all my sports there, and then I can filter, right? So like I can filter on the sport here. If I want to see something specific, I can just filter down on what I want to see. All right, but let's get into this. So I'm going to make it from scratch for you. I'm going to move a couple things around here. My coffee cup is done. Not time for coffee. It's time for water and other beverages. But here we go. All right, so on the example tracker, all right, this is going to be from start to finish how I made that tracker with what functions and other things and formulas are used in it. All right, so the first thing is date. And if I could type, that'd be fantastic. All right, date, and then we go sport. Again, if you want a tracker for a specific sport, you can use it that way, but I use it for all of my sports. So we're going to go sport. Next is going to be the league. Next will be the type of bet, right? So is it a straight bet? Is it a parlay? Is it a teaser? Is it what kind of bet is it? Is it a future? What is it? All right, so that's the type of bet. The next column will be what the actual play is. All right, I have it open up on me just so I can make sure I have the right columns. We're going to go American odds next. Decimal odds, if you want them, you don't really need them. I just use it as part of my calculations later on. So that's why I have the decimal odds in there. Units risked. All right. To win what? So there's to win. Next. Oh, I went over too far. Here we go. To win. Then we're going to go win, loss. So that tells you, did you win the bet or did you lose the bet? What was your net on that bet? So basically net profit, net loss. And then the next column will be the total net won loss for the whole entire spreadsheet as a total. Again, up to you if you want to put that there, if you want to put it somewhere else, but that's where I like to put it. All right, and then there is basically what the spreadsheet looks like. Now, you can format it how you want. You can make whatever color you want to make it. So I like colors, right? So I'm gonna make it different colors. Let me just slide over here and drag it and grab it. There we go. All right, I'm gonna make it a color. It doesn't matter what color you make it. I would advise not using yellow, green, or red because those are the colors that I use for wins, for losses, and for pushes. But again, whatever color system works for you, you can use that. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever works for you. I used this blue, I think, on my other one, so I'm going to use it again. All right. If you want to clean this up a bit, you can, center the columns, right? You can do what you want there, right? So if you want to center them, there you go. They're centered. But let's get into this. All right. So you're going to type the date in, right? So today's the 10th of April, so we're going to go 410, and actually, I'm going to type in 41023 just so it's already there. So 41023. All right, the sport goes in the next one. All right, so I'm going to put, for example, let's say I'm betting on MLB. Again, this is not a pick for today. All right, I'm just saying there's MLB, or you can put in baseball, whatever you want. I'll put in baseball. We'll go MLB for the league. All right, the type of bet is going to be a straight bet. And let's say I'm betting on the Phillies today. I don't know what the line is. I'd have to pull up what the line is. But let's just say they are actually, I do know what the line is. They're like plus 110, I think. So you can't put a plus in on – you can, but you have to format it properly to put a plus in. So my positive odds just look like that. All right? The decimal odds is what we're going to do. A formula. First formula is going to be the decimal odds. So I'm going to show it to you two different ways. All right, so let's say I'm taking 410, right? We're going to go baseball again, MLB. Straight bet again. And let's say this time we're taking the Marlins because the Phillies are playing the Marlins today. And I think they are minus 115, I think, on the money line, something like that. Ooh. Ted, that's a good point. That I didn't freeze the headers. I should freeze the headers. All right, so for anyone who doesn't know how to freeze your headers, you're going to grab this row. All right, you're going to go to view. You can hit freeze and hit freeze one row. All right, so now if you scroll down, it's going to stay there. All right, so thank you, Ted. I should freeze the headers. The thing is, I've been using the same tracker for like 5 years. So for me, I know where every column is. But yeah, for people who don't know, that's a good idea. So there you go. There's your headers. All right. So the decimal odds. All right. So what we're going to do for the decimal odds are, For the positive odds, so any plus money bet, all right, plus money, you're going to type in equals, and you're going to put it in parentheses because it makes it a little easier. You're going to pick that cell. So this one's F2, for example. All right, you're going to divide it by 100, and you're going to add 1 to it. All right, so what that's going to do is it's going to show you what the decimal odds are. And you don't want to autofill, because the reason you don't want to autofill is because you're not using the same formula for a minus odds play. You can code this if you want to, as soon as you put this in, it'll spit it out with the if. You can use an if function in there and you can do it, but you have to play around with it a little bit because the syntax is kind of strange. So I'm going to leave it simple for now. All right, so for this one, right, it's whatever the bet is, so whatever the odds are divided by 100, and you add 1 to it. That's how you get the decimal odds. Here, for the minus odds, it's going to look a little different. So it's going to be equals 1 minus, and it's 100 divided by whatever this odds are, and that's what you're going to get for your decimal odds. All right, so there's two different formulas there. This one is going to be the the odds divided by 100, and you're going to add 1. For the decimal odds, it's going to be 1 minus 100 over what the odds are. All right, so this one, pretty self-explanatory. That's what the formulas are, and that's going to give you what the odds are. Right now, the units risked is pretty easy. The units risked is going to be however many units you're risking, right? So if you put in 1 unit, whatever it is, 2 units, 2 units, there you go. All right. And to win, it's going to be another formula. All right. So to win, it's going to be multiplying basically this, and you're dividing it by, or you're subtracting the actual units that you risked, because we're just looking at the profit. We're not looking at what the bet returned, right? So if you guys remember, when you place a bet, let's say you place a $100 bet on the Phillies to win this game, right? So your $100 bet would pay out 110, but you don't get only 110 back. You get that 210 back because you get the bet plus the winnings. But we only want to know what the winnings are. We don't really care what the bet stake was when we're figuring out our winnings, because when we're using that to track how we do, if you factor in the bet stake, you're going to be your numbers are going to be skewed, because you're going to think you're doing better than you actually are. All right, so you got to know that you're winning a certain amount of money, but when you actually win the bet, you get the bet stake plus the winnings back. All right, so to win, it's going to be equals, we're going to put it in parentheses, it's going to be this number times this number, okay, and we're going to subtract back what the units were. All right, so in this case, it's going to show you, and you can autofill this because this is going to be the same way down. It's going to be the same way all the way down. But this shows you here that, yeah, there you go. Why would you place a $100 bet on the Phillies? It's a good question. I wouldn't. But just as using them as an example, because it's an easy bet for me to calculate things in my head so I can make sure that my tracker's right. But you're going to win the 1.1 units back, right? So I said you're going to risk 110, or sorry, you're going to risk 100 to win 110, right? So if your unit is $100, you're going to win the 110. So if you multiply 100 by that bet would win you 110. So here's how that works out. But again, remember, you're only tracking the units that you would actually win, not the bet stake. That's why we're subtracting out the number from the beginning. All right. So that's your to win. Okay. And you can drag this all the way down for when you're done, or you can, if you're good with computers, you can hit the buttons to know what you're winning back. But you can drag this all the way down and it's going to fill in for you. And then now if I type in down here, let's say I'm typing in something that's, I'm just going to use minus 200 as an example. Actually, I'll use minus 125. I don't like betting on straight bets at minus 200, but minus 125, the decimal odds on that, remember, it's this formula here, right? So you could drag this formula down if you wanted to. My mouse wants to work. I don't need a dictionary. I'm good. Thank you. So it's 1.8. All right, that's what the decimal odds are on a minus 125 bet. And let's say you're putting 2 units on it. All right. Well, now this is automatically going to change. So you're risking 2 units to win 1.6 units. And how does that number come about? Well, again, remember, it's this times this minus this stake, the original stake. All right. Now, the win-loss column. All right, this one is going to use conditional formatting. All right, so you're going to put in a W, or you're going to put in an L, or you're going to put it in a P. So a W is obviously going to mean win. All right, an L is going to mean a loss, and a P is going to be a push. A push means you get refunded your money back. You don't win anything. All right, you just get refunded. But how I set up this tracker, right, to show up in these colors here with the red, the green, and the yellow, orange, whatever color you want to call that, it's going to look like this. So you're going to take the entire column and you're going to highlight it. All right, and you're going to go to Format, and you're going to go to Conditional Formatting. All right, and when you're getting this conditional formatting up, what you're going to do is you're going to go to Format Rules here. And if you're doing this on Excel, it's a tad different. It's basically the same premise. I'm just doing it on Sheets because it's easier to share on Sheets to other people. So that's why I did it on Sheets. Plus, I can update this from anywhere. So I have, Sheets on my phone. I have it on my iPad, have it on my computer. So if I'm like away and I'm betting, I'm not necessarily going to have my computer with me, but I have my phone and I have like an iPad with me, so I can update, real time what I'm doing. Vince, Chris, I'm getting quite a buildup of $100 sports tokens. Need your advice on what to use them on. Sure. It's a good thing you didn't bet this weekend because you would have lost them all because my picks sucked. But they're going to be better, I promise. I promise. All right, back to the formatting. All right, so conditional formatting. What we're going to do is we're going to change this rule, right? So the rule is format the cell if it's not empty. We're going to change it to if text is exactly. All right, and what we're going to do here is we're going to type a W in. All right, so if the text is exactly W, the color of the column is going to be green. All right, so that cell will populate green. All right, so that's number one. We're going to add another rule, and it's going to be the same thing. If the text is exactly, but in this case, we're going to make it an L, all right, which is a loss. And that one we're going to make red. So if text is L, column's going to highlight red. All right, and the final one we're going to add, so 3 rules here. Text is exactly P. It's going to light up orange or yellow, whatever color you want to make it, and that's going to signify that the bet was a push. All right, so I'm going to hit done, and here's your rules. All right, so you can see that if the text is exactly W in this column, it's going to be green. If the text is exactly L, it's going to be red. And if text is exactly P, it's going to be yellow. All right, so if I close this, because column G is covered right now by this, but if I close this, you'll see, there you go. The columns are all going to change different colors. All right, so if I type in a W here and I push enter, boom, there you go. It's going to light up green. If I type in a T, it's not going to change. All right, it's only looking for W, L, and P. All right, so if you want to change anything to, like, let's say you want to type out win all the way, right? You're going to have to put in your conditional formatting here. In your rules, you're going to have to change this to be text is exactly win. All right, and you're going to have to hit done down here to save it. And now you'll see that these aren't lighting up green because I changed the formatting. So now when I type in win, not win-loss, it just populated automatically. Now when I type in win, now it lights up green. So it's up to you how you want to do it. I use W's and I use P's personally, but it's up to you how you want to do that. So I'm going to change this back just so it's a little bit easier. because I don't like typing that much. But if text is exactly W, boom, there we go. It's back. And now you'll see here the win isn't going to be highlighted. But when I change it to a W, there you go. All right, so that's how you do the conditional formatting there. And we're going to move on to our next formula. All right, next formula. If you guys have any questions or I'm going too fast or anything like that, feel free to let me know. All right, just let me know. And I can re-explain something or I can go over it again, whatever. Just let me know. Next, we're going to go over our net. So that's going to be the net profit or loss from the single bet that we placed. Now, if you want to, you can do this old school and you can type in, like, let's say this bet won, right? So you can type in here, 1.1 for plus 1.1. Here you can type in minus 1. All right, you can do all that, no problem, if that's what you want to do. However, I don't like to do that. A little bit time consuming, especially if you're placing multiple bets. If you forget to update something for a couple days, you got to go in and type all the way through. Make it real easy for you. All right, I'm going to make it easy. We're going to type in equals and we're going to use an if statement. All right, so equals if. And we're going to double click that and we're going to get rid of that because we don't need it. So equals if J2, which is the win-loss column for that specific bet, if J2 equals a W, a capital W, and you got to put the little asterisks in there. I think you guys can see them. If not, let me zoom in so you guys can see that. Where'd it go? Here it is. All right. So if J2 equals that quote W end quote, right? We're gonna type a comma, and what that's gonna do is now you're setting up your if statement. So you're saying if this column equals W, your first result that you're going to type in is going to be the win-loss. So that's the true statement. You're going to type another comma, and then we're going to type in the false statement. All right? It's a little complicated. It'll make sense in a second. So if J2 equals W, what do I want it to show up in column K here? Well, I want to know what I won, right? Because the bet won, so I want to know what I won. So if J2 equals W, then I want column K to be equal to column I2. So I'm going to type in I2. All right, so if J equals W, then I'm going to get an I2. So that's the true statement. We have to put in a false statement, though, because if I don't put in a false statement, you're going to get an error message down the line, all right? Because if I type in here, right, if this goes down here, it's going to say just false. But we want it to populate the losing number. All right, so we're going to put a comma in here, and it's going to be negative, because we lost the bet, H2, which is this column here, the units risked column. Okay, close parenthesis, hit enter. Now we're going to drag this all the way down, or you can just hit the button and go all the way down. But you'll see here that here it won, and here it knows I lost because there's not a W here, it's an L. So it's going to be negative. Now, the only thing that matters here that you have to play around with is the P. Because the if statement's only going to have two arguments in it. Either if this, then that, or if this doesn't happen, then that. You can't put a third one in there. So with the P, we can change it to be something else, or you can just go in and type the 0. Personally, I just go in and type the 0 because it's a little bit easier. But make sure if you have a push that you type the 0 in, because it's going to show up negative as it is. All right, so make sure you go in and type that. So that's how this all populates. All right, so that's how this goes. And now if I type in, let's say I type in down here, let's say I change this to a win instead of a push, right? And I hit enter. Well, now I got to go back and drag this down because it's a 0. I changed it, right? So now it's going to show up as 1.16 units that were won. And let's say I make this a loss, right? It's going to change to -2. All right? So that's how that's done. We'll change it back to a win. Here, for the total net win-loss, what we care about here is column K. All right, because that's what we net won and net lost. So we're going to type in equals sum because we want to add up. And you're going to type in K colon. So it's shift on the semicolon. And you're going to be K again. All right. And you're going to close the parenthesis. So sum of all of column K is going to give us this net win or loss. So if we take a look at this, all right, you can see that we have 1.17 is the sum of this. And if you add this up quickly, right, you'll see 1.1 minus 1 is going to be 0.1. And you add 1.6 to it, boom, 1.7. And if I just come in here and I start typing numbers, right, minus 5, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, keep going down, add a 4, 5, minus 6, add an 8, whatever. It's just going to keep adding up to get this. All right. Now, these obviously aren't actual bets, so I'm going to get rid of these for now. But there you go. Okay. We're going to format this again just so we can see if we're positive or negative. Obviously, there's going to be a negative sign in front of it if you're negative. You guys can, I showed you my tracker already on how the bets are going this month. But we're going to format this. All right. So, again, it's going to be format. And we're going to go to conditional formatting. But this formatting is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be based on what is a letter that's in the column. It's going to be based off of the value. All right, so what we're going to do is if cell, and we're going to scroll down to greater than, and we're going to put 0. So if it's greater than 0, we want it to light up green, right? Because if it's greater than 0, that means we're profiting. All right, we're going to add another rule. Same thing. But this time, if it's less than 0. So that would mean a negative number. All right, and we're going to make that red because that shows us that we're losing and our picks suck. And then, if you want to, you can add it in. It's going to be pretty hard to actually end on 0 exactly based on the vig and the juice associated with bets. But if you want to put is equal to 0, you can change it to be yellow or whatever color you fancy. I don't really care, but I'll make it yellow in this case. All right, so we're going to hit done. We're going to close this out, and you'll see here now that since we're profiting on the 3 fake bets that I entered, it's lighting up green. Now, if I change this to be this, let's say this bet, let's say I add a bet in here that's going to lose, right? So let's say I change this bet here now to a loss. All right. Well, now we didn't win. We lost that bet. So now it's going to change it to minus 1.9 units, and it's going to show up red. All right. Everyone get that? Hopefully. And here I'm going to show you how it shows up yellow. If I type in 1.9, I know that's going to make it 0, and boom, there you go. There's your 0, and it's going to be green, or it is going to be yellow. Now, on this tracker, you can see that I have the record on here too, so I'll show you guys how to make that. It's pretty simple. If you guys want it, here it is. You're going to take these 3 columns. I'm going to zoom out for a sec just so I can get some of my controls back a little bit so I can see them. We're going to highlight columns M, N, and O. All right, we're going to click here, and you're going to hit this button here to merge the cells. All right, so what that's going to do is it's going to take just that top 3 cells, and it's going to make them into one cell. All right, and you'll type in record. If I can type record. All right, and we'll hit enter. And this, again, if you want it centered, you can go ahead and center it. There you go, it's centered. All right, here we're going to put in wins, losses, push. All right, so that's going to give you your record. And you can make this a different color if you want. I like it as a different color. So I'm going to take these first three cells here, the first 3 rows, because the wins are going to populate here, the losses are going to populate here, and the pushes are going to populate here. And I'm going to make this a different color. So I'm going to take this paintbrush or the paint bucket here, and I'm going to make it, let's say, this red color here. Or if you want to make it blue, you can make it blue. I don't care what color you make it. Just make it something that you like and is appealing to your eye. Again, it doesn't matter to me. I'll just make it this color for now. All right. So for this, instead of going through and updating it every single time. So let's say you win your first 3 bets, right? Boom. And then you lose 1. And let's say you push on 1. All right. But now every time you're going to have to go in and enter the next win. So let's say you win your next bet. You're going to have to go in and manually type in a 4. All right. Again, it doesn't seem like much for 1 bet. But when you start doing it for a ton of bets, you can automate it and make your life a lot easier. All right. So we're going to get rid of this, and get rid of this. What we're going to do is we're going to type in here equals, and we're going to use the count if function. All right, so it looks like this, and it's going to be a count based on how many W's are in that column where we type in the W's and the L's. All right, so that's column J, if you remember, right? So it's here. So count if, and we're going to type in J, and again, we want all of column J. So it's going to be J colon J. So this function is saying for this particular cell, we're going to count how many of a specific value are in column J. And where do we get that specific value from? Well, we're going to type in comma, and we're going to put the quotes on it, capital W quotes, and we're going to close the parentheses. All right. You're going to hit enter. And here you go. Now it's going to count in column J the amount of W's you have. All right. Hopefully that made sense. You can see here we have 2 W's. All right. If I change this to another W and I hit enter, that's going to automatically change to 3. All right. If I do it again, boom, you got 4. All right. Makes sense? Hopefully it does. Losses, we're going to do the same exact thing. All right, but instead of counting W's, we're counting the L's. So we're going to come in here and we're going to type in equals, and we're going to go to that count if statement again. And we're looking in column J. So it's going to be J colon J, comma, quotes, and now we're looking for the L, right? So how many losses do we have? And you hit enter. And there you go. We have 2 losses, and there is your 2 losses. But let's say I keep adding, numbers as I go here and adding values as I go. Now it counts all of them for you. All right, so that's what we're looking for there. Here, same thing, same function, count if. All right, same column we're looking in, J to J. And here, now let's say we want to count the pushes we have. So we're going to do P here. And you're going to see that there's no pushes right now. All right, no P's are in here. But if I start changing some of these to a P, well, now there's 1. But also notice how it took away from the win column. All right, that's why this is set up that way. Because if I take another win away and I change it to a P and I hit enter, now we have 6 wins, 2 pushes. So again, it's counting how many of a specific value are in that column. All right. So there you go. There's how you can make that tracker. So this tracker that I have, now you can see everything is in this example tracker that I have for you now. Again, I posted this in Discord. So if you want a copy of it, it's there. Also, I think John was talking about posting it on Casino Gaming TV on the website. So we'll do that as well. For you so you have it. But in case something gets messed up on your tracker, or you just want to understand how it works, here it is. All right, so there you go. That's how you do it. You can add other things to it if you want. This is a very basic tracker. I have a couple trackers that are more in-depth. I can show you an example of those like another day. But if you want to do something like return on investment, that's a pretty big stat that a lot of sports bettors use, is their return on investment. You can add that in too. All right, so I'll show you how to do that quickly. There's a formula in Excel or in Sheets that you can use, and it'll just do it for you. But I'll type it in here, return on investment, and I'll show you how to calculate return on investment I'm turning my math brain on right now. So there you go. All right, so the return on investment formula is like how much you profit divided by the cost of what you profit, like how much you actually invested in order to get that profit times 100 to get the percent. All right, so what you're going to do here is, again, it's going to be how much you've won divided by how much you've invested times 100, and that's your return on investment. So how do you get that? Well, it's going to be equals. We're going to put this in parentheses. It's going to be total win or loss. All right, so that's your total amount that you've won, aka your income. That's how much you've won, and we're going to divide that by how much we've invested, which is going to be the sum of column H, because it's the units we've risked. All right, so you can put in here, if you want, sum, and you can put in H to H, right? So it's going to be the sum of all of that, and now we're going to multiply all this here by 100, and there's your return on investment, $0. Why? Well, we haven't won anything. But if I take, and I keep adding some numbers here, let's say I add that, it's going to change, but that's because I only put in, this many units. So let's say we're going here, and I'm just going to keep adding units in. All right, so now we know that we've won 4 total units, but our return on investment is going to be 40% because we've won 4, but how much have we risked? Well, it'd be the sum of this column. If you don't want to put in the sum number in the formula right away, and you want to know exactly how many units you've risked the entire time, all you have to do is put, let's say we want to know how much units risked total, right? You can put in here equals sum, and it's column H, sum H, and there you go. There was a problem because I didn't put the parenthesis in there. There you go. And it'll tell you you've risked 10 units. Okay? So here you go. 4, this formula, remember, it's 4 divided by 10 times 100. There's your return on investment. If you want to turn it into a percentage, just hit the little percent button. And there's your return on investment. All right? Preferably don't leave it. I don't put it in percentiles. Texts are pouring in. Parents just landed in Vegas. Hopefully they have a good Vegas trip. But there you go. There's how that tracker works and how I made the tracker. So if you guys have any questions, you can put them in chat right now. Hopefully that was informative for you and you understand. I know I took a while to explain exactly what it is. I know some people are sitting there thinking it's easy. Clearly Ted knows his Excel and his Google Sheets. Because he was giving me advice, so thanks, Ted. But if you didn't know any of those formulas, there you go. Hopefully that helps. And again, picks for today will be out in the Discord later today. All right, I'm going to post them this afternoon. After this, I'm going to go get some food, and then I will post the picks. I got to run the models and take a look at some things. I was busy at work this morning, so I didn't get a chance to do it this morning when I normally do it. So I will do it now while I'm eating, and we'll get the picks out. But hopefully, again, that was informative. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Hopefully the bets go well today, and we can chip away at that negative unit number that is sitting on my tracker, haunting me right now. It's okay.
I didn't get that. Could you
shut up, Siri? We're going to overcome adversity, and we're going to come back, and we're going to win, and we're going to make it a profitable month. I'm manifesting greatness. Guys, hope you guys have a great Monday. And yeah, that's me done. All right, that's me done. So again, if you have any questions, you can put them in, or you can shoot me a message in Discord, or you can just comment on the video and say what you want to say. And again, have a great Monday, and I will have another show tomorrow. And again, the picks will be out later this afternoon, and I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.